We open on a group of children having fun and playing the iconic Squid game, which most people outside of South Korea have never heard of before in their life. They're laughing and having fun as children do. Enjoy it while it lasts, kids, because the next thing you know, it's over, and you become, well, this. Meet Ji-hoon, resident disappointment, who manages to make not only his own life miserable, but also the lives of his mother, daughter, ex-wife, and her new husband. Now how's that for an overachiever? Ji-hoon is nothing more than an overgrown man-child living with his mother and taking her money to feed his pressing gambling addiction. Money that was meant to take his daughter out for her birthday. Besides losing out on the Father of the Year award, Ji-hoon also loses at gambling. Apparently quite a lot. After he loses on one of his bets, he bounces back and wins big. He celebrates by giving the cashier some money, but on the way out, his friendly neighborhood loan sharks come looking for him to collect Ji-hoon's debts. Ji-hoon pays them the money he owes him, or at least that's what he should have done. Instead, being the genius he is, he runs. While frantically running away from the sharks, he bumps into a woman and helps her with her things before running again. We watch our man get the bejesus beat out of him and offer to pay what he has to the shark, but soon realizes the woman he bumped into pickpocketed him. After getting an extension on his debt payment and promising his organs as collateral, Ji-hoon asks to borrow some money. Seriously, the balls on this guy are massive. Either he's brave or an idiot. Yeah, he's an idiot. A kid wins a prize for him, and Ji-hoon celebrates before taking his daughter, Ja-young, out for dinner. He gives her the gift, and they open it to find a gun. This man put way too much faith in a Korean claw machine. He says he'll keep it for when she's older, and then she fires it. Thankfully, it's a lighter. But how irresponsible is that? I don't know which part I'm more upset by, the lack of gun safety or the fact that the vending machine offers oversized lighters. Ji-hoon takes his daughter home and fights with his ex-wife. He's really winning at life. Ji-hoon misses his train and waits for the next one before a stranger comes and talks to him. The stranger asks to play a game. Ji-hoon rejects the offer, not interested. The stranger presses him, and then he pulls the lighter gun on the stranger. When he sees the stranger's briefcase with stacks of money and the dokji cards, reluctantly he agrees to play. The things will do for money. The game's goal is to flip the other player's dokji square over using their own. Before we go on, like the video, smash the subscribe button and turn on that notification bell to get that full day of good luck. And obviously he fails, while the stranger succeeds. The stranger makes him a deal. They keep playing, and the stranger slaps Ji-hoon every time he wins. Somehow, no red flags, or in this case, dokji cards, are being raised for Ji-hoon, and he's just going with the flow and getting slapped to death. When he finally wins, he gets his money and a card to continue playing games to win more money. Ji-hoon, feeling like $1,000,000 or 100,000 won, which is, wait, let me check, $85. He got slapped more times than the dollar value. Moving on, if that's even possible, he walks home and past his old friend Sang-woo's mother's shop. At home, his mother tells him that Ji-young is moving to America with her mother and stepfather. Without many options, he calls the number and joins the games. He's told to meet them at a specific location, and he waits for a moment before a car pulls up. He gets in and is quickly knocked out by gas, waking up in a room with hundreds of other people. What in the Hunger Games is going on here? Well, Halloween just got a whole lot easier this year. There's even a mask. Bet people won't complain about wearing these ones. Ji-hoon meets player 1, an old man with a tumor. We learn that there are 456 players. Their gloomy conversation about tumors is interrupted by a fight between a burly man, Deok-soo, and the oh damn, it's the pickpocket and North Korean defect, Se-byuk. I wonder if he remembers her face. Safe to say the answer is yes. He and Deok-soo almost get into a fight when the guards walk in, interrupting them, and introduce themselves. They're all told they will play 6 games over 6 days, and whoever wins, wins big. Some of the players object, feeling like they were tricked. One of them is Ji-hoon's childhood friend Sang-woo. They reveal some players' information to remind them of their broke-ass status, which shuts them up. A giant piggy bank is revealed for the money that will accumulate over the games. Now that's showmanship. They sign an agreement that states they can't stop playing unless a majority votes to stop. On their way to the first game, they take pictures for their player photos. Look at this clown. You gotta love this goofball, he's so naive. Next, they travel through the most confusing-looking room of staircases since Hogwarts and enter a big fake field. Ji-hoon runs to say hello to his old friend, but he's not super chatty. The front man gives the orders to start and watches from his residence. The clown from before notices the creepy doll on the other side first, and then a voice tells them that they're playing red light, green light. When the light is green and the creepy doll's back is turned, they can run forward. When it's red, they have to stop. If they move, they're out. They need to cross the line without getting eliminated, all within 5 minutes. Seems easy enough. They go and the clown moved. He's dead. This clearly is like how they played it when they were kids. Freaked out, player 250 runs and is shot. Panic sets in and everyone starts running, setting off a massacre. Players are dropping like flies. When the killing stops, the game continues, and only player 1 moves forward. People slowly join in. Ji-hoon is panicking, but Sang-woo tells him he needs to continue or he'll die too. Se-byeok walks behind Yak-soo and threatens to make him lose. I don't see a friendship blossoming here anytime soon. The human shield Ji-hoon was using gets shot and holds onto his leg, forcing him to break free and run forward on his own. Players start crossing the line and beating the game. As Ji-hoon gets close, he trips, but before he falls, another player, Ali, grabs and holds him still. They both manage to get across the line just in time. The remaining players are killed. As the roof closes in, we see the island in the middle of the ocean where they're being kept. Coffins are delivered and incinerated by the guards while all the players sit in the room and think about what they've just witnessed. Ji-hoon thanks Ali and Sang-woo for saving him, and then the guards return. They announce that 255 people died in the first round, causing Min-yao to beg forgiveness before others join her. They tell the players that they have no interest in their debts. People are freaked out and panicked. They all want to leave but are reminded of the waiver. Sang-woo initiates a vote to stay or go. Before the vote, they reveal the money from the first round. Ah, look at all that bacon. Smells like capitalism. For every eliminated player, 100 million won is added to the piggy. By the end, the total would be 45.6 billion won, which sounds like a lot, but enough to wager your life? I'm not sure. The vote to terminate succeeds when player 1 breaks the tie, ending the games. Ji-hoon and Se-byeok are dropped on the side of the road naked and tied up. Se-byeok convinces Ji-hoon to untie her and tricks him into tricking she'll do the same. He chases her for his money, but his feet are tied up, so she walks away, leaving him behind. Ali and Sang-woo are dropped off together and go to a convenience store where they get food, and Sang-woo charges his phone to lend to Ali. He then gives Ali some money for the bus. Pretty generous for a man up to his eyeballs in debt. Ji-hoon tries to tell the cops about the games, but to say it doesn't go well is an understatement. He looks like a fool and is treated like one. They even call the number on the card, but it goes to someone else. Detective Jun-ho Hwang sees the card on his way out. Ji-hoon goes home and can't find his mother anywhere. He finds Sang-woo stalking his mother in the market. Nothing says mother-son love like a bit of light stalking. While the two talk, he gets a call and goes to the hospital. God, those feet have seen better days. Now she's walking on them. What's her motivation? Oh, disappointment and giving up. I understand. If the diabetes doesn't kill her, the shame Ji-hoon brings might. Jun-ho goes to find where his brother is after not hearing from him for a few weeks. In his room, he finds a card like the one Ji-hoon had. Well, I don't want to say it's a bad sign, but, all the players would have returned by now. Not looking good, my man. He returns to the station the next day and asks about Ji-hoon and where he's from. Se-byeok visits her brother at the children's home. He gets mouthy with her for breaking her promise of their family being together. If only he understood how hard getting someone out of North Korea was, maybe then he'd have a touch more of understanding. Unfortunately, it's far more complicated than just a call asking Supreme Leader Kim nicely. When has asking someone with the title Supreme Leader ever gone well? She goes and sees someone for help getting her mother. But when he tries to take advantage of her for more money, she throws the coffee in his face before holding a knife to his throat. Se-byuk is more of a my way or the highway kind of gal. Ali goes to the factory where he worked and asks his boss for the money he's owed. Ali and his boss get physical and, well, to say it goes poorly would be glossing over the fact that this dude's fingers get smashed in one of the machines. Ali runs. He returns home to his wife and baby, gives her the money, and tells her to leave the country as quickly as possible before he joins her. Sang-woo's about to commit suicide and calls his mother to have a conversation, if you can really call it that, where he doesn't tell her anything and doesn't tell her he loves her when she needs to go. What a schmuck. The police arrive at her shop to ask if she's seen her son, and she can't believe what she's hearing. He commits to the suicide as much as he's committed to the final phone call with his mother, as someone bangs on his door and leaves a card inviting the players to return. Ji-hoon spots the old man while out, and the two sit and talk for a while. Player 1 tells him he's going back, which shocks Ji-hoon. Deok-soo talks to one of his goons about the games and about getting in and robbing the masterminds behind them. What he doesn't know is that while he's planning a double cross, he's getting double-crossed. But once he figures it out, he kills the man who betrayed him and jumps off the bridge. Ji-hoon asks his ex-wife for the money for his mother's medical bills, but says she can't. So she tells him to leave before her husband gets home and then… awkward. Things don't get much better outside after the dude basically pays Ji-hoon to stay away from his daughter. While on his way home, more miserable than when he left for the games the first time, Jun-ho confronts him about the games. He doesn't talk much, saying he won't be much help to anyone. Inside, he finds his card, and they all return to the spot where they were picked up initially. This time, Jun-ho is following, and Se-byuk outsmarts the knockout gas in order to stay awake. Jun-ho follows the car with Ji-hoon all the way to the docks. He climbs underneath one of the cars and gets onto the barge going to the island. When the guards go to do their checks, Jun-ho kills one of them and takes his place before tossing his body into the ocean. They arrive at the island and prepare the players for the games. While they strip the players down, dress them, remove their items, Se-byuk manages to keep a knife using clever pickpocket tricks. They all wake up in the room again, and Ji-hoon says hello to player 1. He sees Sang-woo and Ali, and together they create a team. Too soon to call them Korean Suicide Squad? Deok-soo tries to get Se-byuk to join his team, but she declines and warns the others against joining his team. Min-yao tries to join Deok-soo's team, but he says no and instead treats her like an object. Nice to know is international and not just a homegrown exclusive. Jun-ho goes to the room of the dude he bodied. The other guard is definitely suspicious of Jun-ho. Inside, he finds a plain room, a camera watching, and rules stating to never remove the mask. At this point, I'm sure we know what the punishment will be if the rules are broken. He eats his dinner, and when the lights are out, he takes note of everything he saw, like the good little detective he is. Korean Karen bangs on the door to get time to use the bathroom. She talks to a guard with a triangle, but he's useless, so she asks for the square. When he finally relents to let her use the toilet, Se-byuk joins her, to Min-yao's annoyance. Min-yao pulls a thing of cigarettes from between her legs in the bathroom, which is just a level of commitment to smoking I didn't know was possible. Se-byuk opens the door, startling her, before she climbs up behind her to get to the vents. Min-yao makes a scene to buy her new friend some time. While in the vents, Se-byuk sees they're melting something. One of the guards almost spots Se-byuk, but she gets lucky, managing to get back just in time as the guard walks in. Sang-woo hears them talking as they get back to the room and realizes she knows something. In the morning, Se-byuk tells her what she saw, but Min-yao isn't impressed. Jun-ho gets ready for his shift and goes out for the head count. His next-door neighbor looks at him and is still very suspicious about Jun-ho. The competitors eat breakfast before the announcement comes that the next game will soon begin. Meanwhile, some guy finds a note in his pastry that reads honeycomb, so it's safe to say he's working with someone on the inside. Cheating death is nothing sacred anymore. On the way to the game, Sang-woo talks to Se-byuk and they strike a deal. He helps her with the games and she tells him what he saw. In the room, there are 4 doors. Each player has to choose one. Sang-woo convinces his team to take a door each. Ji-hoon chooses the umbrella, and Sang-woo, knowing what's coming, tries to stop him but not hard enough to actually have an effect. They're given honeycomb dalgona and told to extract the shape from the honeycomb without breaking it. The competitors begin toiling away at the honeycomb with a needle, working to get their shapes out. As people start failing, they start killing the losers off. Min Yao uses her lighter to heat the needle and make it easier to loosen. As annoying as she may be, she is resourceful. How nobody's noticing this, however, is beyond me. The guy who found the note in his pastry is successful, and slowly more and more people start getting their shapes out. Running out of time, which seems to be something Ji-hoon knows all too well. He realizes if he licks the honeycomb, it'll loosen the shape. Jun-ho is discovered by one of the guards and asked why he's there when he's not meant to be. He tells the guard he got confused, which prompts the square to tell him to stay behind so he can be reprimanded. The guy who got the note in the pastry is carted off to the side, so clearly something sketchy's going on. It's made worse by the fact that the overseers on the monitors are erasing that particular footage. Min Yao drops the lighter by Deok-soo's feet, and he begins using it like she did to get the shape out. Everyone copies Ji-hoon and licks their shape. And just as they're about to run out of time, his shape becomes loose. He clearly loves living on the edge. When a guard makes player 79 move his hands, the guy launches at the guard and stabs him in the eye right before he can be shot. The guards kill the other remaining players as 79 holds his guard hostage. The player tells the guard to remove his mask, and when he sees how young the guard is, he kills himself. The front man kills the guard for breaking the rules. Some capital punishment nonsense going on here. Good news for Jun-ho because he gets the square mask, which holds more power in this mad world. So, would you return to the games if you survived round 1? Tell me with the hashtag Cinema Recap in the comments.